Got it. All right. Great. That's done. Hello from Iran. Wonderful. Kansas City, Tucson. Yeah, definitely. You can let us know where you're coming from. Um, Oakland, a dock in Seattle. How nice. Okay. I am what I'm gonna do, Anand, is let's see, stop. I'm gonna stop your sharing if I can figure out how to do that from
Oh,
my angle.
oh, yeah, yeah. Wait, I'll do it
You
for
got to
you.
do it? Okay. And then
Yeah.
I'm gonna start with some slides. So I'm gonna share for a moment and then I'll hand it over to you in just a minute. Let me see. We'll start recording. Oops. There we go. Um, all right, how do we do this? That's how we do it. Welcome, everybody. It's Friday Night Comics. Wherever you are, it might not be Friday night. It might be early Saturday morning. It might be a late afternoon. Might be some other time. It might be the past, or it might be the future. Anyway, we call it Friday Night Comics, or we believe in comics. It's the Friday Night Workshops at SAW, the Sequential Artists Workshop. Thanks for being here. We're a 501(c)(3) nonprofit. We have lots of courses, lots of ways to learn comics, lots of ways to be around other people making comics. You can find out more at learn.sawcomics.org. Um, we've got some spring courses coming up. Matt Madden is teaching Build Your Own Labyrinth, creative nonfiction with Maureen Burdock. Both of those start tomorrow. If you're interested, check out learn.sawcomics.org. And Tommy Parrish is going to be talking about merchandising yourself or your work. And it sounds super cool. That's starting in May. Um, Next week in this location, in this spot, we've got Beth Hetland with Creepy Crawlies. So watch out for that. We've also got the graphic novel development intensive coming up starting in June. It's 6 months. It's designed to get your, well, we'll stay there. Designed to get your graphic novel going or out the door, whichever it is. Also tune into the Terrible Anvil. That's Jess Roloffson and my podcast about how to make comics and not feel lousy all the time. And it says episode 2 there, but now we're up to 12, if you can believe that. And we've got, I think, 20. I think we're going to go up to 20 and then stop there. So there's still time to catch it. In fact, that's sorry, that's one of our episodes. Lower your expectations and meet your comic goals. All right, silly. All right. Anyway, Saw survives from tuitions and donations, and I really appreciate anyone who donated to this workshop or anything else that helps us pay the Friday night artists to help keeps these free for you all. There's lots of ways to support us, and I'll put some of those in the chat. PayPal, Patreon, etc. And you can also become a sustaining member, which helps us a lot too. Um, so thanks for being here. Please no inappropriate speech or imagery in the public sharing. No trolling or hate speech. Please keep it PG-13. Share what you do tonight. Hashtag Friday Night Comics works really well on social media at Comics Workshop. And I'll put Anand's tag in the chat. And you can also come to members.sawcomics.org and find a lot of people sharing that way too. Oh, also, we've been making these PDFs. Let me see of uh, some of the stuff that we do on these Friday nights, and it looks like that. And you can find those at Seesaw Comics. Okay, enjoy. Anand is here with Aimless Comics. I'm really excited. I'm gonna stop sharing if I can figure it out. I'm so excited. I have your book. I love this book so
Oh,
much. Can't tell you. I'm gonna stop yammering. I'm gonna spotlight you. So you're about to get big for everybody. So watch out. Um, there we go. And it's a real honor to have you here. And I'm so glad you stayed awake for us. Thank you so much for being here. And I will, like I said once already, I'll shut up. And I'm going to summarize everything in the chat. And so, and if you need me for anything, just holler.
cool. Yeah, thanks a lot for having me, Tom. It's great being here. A lot of other great cartoonists who do this, and I am also really honored to be here. So, forgive me if I blabber a lot. It's as Tom said early in the day for me, but I'll just share my screen once. Um, yeah. So, hello everybody. I am Anand. I am a cartoonist and visual artist based in Delhi, India. And my primary practices of like comics and self-publishing and figuring out what I can do with comics. And I think Zoo is like one of my major um, things that I have done. It's a self-published one-person comic anthology which I've been doing since 2020, and every issue tells like different stories about people going on with their daily lives, and I guess the absurdities they come across. And um, it's a way of me figuring out what I can do with comics and how I can push like this medium while like exploring um, what do you call it, panels and like the basics of comics and the crazy things I can do with it. Last year, I also had my books with my collection of the first three issues with Bubbles fanzine. Amazing, amazing fanzine from um, Virginia, from Richmond. And so, yeah, this is one of my comics, just as an example. It's called My Cold Brother. It's about a boy who lives in the fridge and his relationship told through the lens of his sister who doesn't really like him. And it just explores the kind of like family dynamics and politics. And we never really see the brother, but like we sort of get an idea of him through the kind of spite or the way his sister sees him. But anyway, so yeah, today I want to talk about aimless comics, or like aimlessness in comics, because um, I feel like there is this aspect of when I say aimless, like I feel comics do this very well, where they sort of explore time and like space, and it can be a bunch of people just talking or reminiscing or like wasting time with each other. But it's so like the kind of things which turn up while that happens, the kind of insecurities or politics or prejudices which come up. I find that very interesting especially when I say aimless, um, where you're not making something about something in particular, where you're just sharing stories of people and their lives and the kind of things they come across. And while doing that, you see so much about them. And even when, as a reader, like when you're giving it to a reader, like there's so many other themes and things which, like, they unravel when you're sort of just blabbering on in your comics. So I'll show some examples. And this is, of course, Simon Hanselman, and with from his Meg Morgan Owl series. And it's the last page of like a 5-page comic, where basically the premise is that Owl wants to watch something, and Meg and Mog like very just don't let him. And I mean, it's a moment which is like stretched across so much with like all his details and all like that awkwardness he has to sit with, which I feel like could have been done in one panel and he could have called it a day, but like he chooses to spread it across the whole page. So that's why it's quite fascinating. And this is Man Without a Talent by Yoshiharu Suge, legend, and very like not as well known, but it's kind of like a semi-fictional story where it's like a character who's quite like him, who's given up on manga, and he is selling stones, which is like his way of getting rich fast, but he is like struck with poverty. And it's about like this sort of reckless attitude he lives with. And in this scene, he has gone to rural Japan with his wife and kid, and like he says this isn't good. There's a puddle, so like we'll have to get wet. And his wife says there's no reason all of us should get soaked. One person could piggyback everyone else over, and like the son loses, and they're like, that was a stupid idea. And it's just like this part of where it's such a silly joke, but like he chooses to tell it, and it complements the story so well. Like it takes the story ahead in such a way that you understand more about like this kid and like this father and the kind of absurdities they're going through. And of course, he very beautifully composes everything. So, and this is um It's a Good Life If You Don't Weaken by Seth, and which again, it's like a semi-fictional account where he's obsessed with finding this very unknown New Yorker cartoonist, and he goes through like all across Canada trying to trace him through. And it's just fascinating because like how the story reads like a detective novel where you're looking for clues and you're trying to search for like a murderer, in this case like a cartoonist. But um the way he just like uh tells like fragments of his story. There are parts where he's just going around and you see all these like beautiful architecture around like Canada and here and there. So yeah, there's like this, it's like a medium where it's something like I said, like a crime novel where it's supposed to be something grave, but like it's something kind of like frivolous. But he chooses to, the way he sort of adds details and adds characters to his thing where uh like the like the nonsense or like um becomes so like entertaining or whatever. But this embroidery is by Majan Satrapi, and this as well, uh it's like these ladies coming together and talking about their lives, their marriage, their partners and ambitions. And it's just conversations where there is, I would say, like no um what do you call it, like no what's that word, um not ending, but like no uh,
Resolution.
resolution, or like there's this other word which I'm totally forget. But yeah, resolution is a good word. There's no resolution per se. It's just people sharing. But there's a certain catharsis to it and a certain namelessness, as to say. But again, like really great cartoonist and really great works. And this is, I guess, one of my prime examples. It's John Porcellino's King Cat comics. And like in this particular story, it's just somewhere in central Nebraska. It's about him moving back home to Illinois with, I think, I'm not sure because I haven't read like the entire thing, but this is from Map of My Heart, which is one of his collections. But it's just them. And then the way he sort of draws as well, where he sort of like he's sort of writing out the things that he's detailing. I find it quite fascinating, especially like the way he draws cats and how they have noses. So, like I find this, and it's like, things which he comes out, I think, every 3, 4 months, and it's just accounts of his life. But, it's very poetic. It's very, um, there's this certain kind of everydayness to it, which makes it so appealing. So, um so there's something which attracts you to it, like just living with him through his everything, misery, his happiness, his smaller moments. And I feel that sort of aimlessness just gets to me. So um this is Chashme Badur. It's like an old Hindi classic film, and it's just a story of these three college students. And like all of them have a crush on this lady, but like this guy ends up with him. And there's so much more which happens in throughout the film. There are these dream sequences. There are like people talking. These two guys are like kind of like the comic relief, and they make like these absurd stories about themselves. And I guess that's also the fact about like these films or comics that I talk about. Like you can explain the story in one line. It's just one line which encapsulates the film, but there's so much more around it. There are all these characters and all these settings which are particular to the time, but yet so universal. And so um, you know there's a sort of attractiveness to it. This is another one, Choti Si Baat, a beautiful, beautiful film about just this guy falling in love with this person and then how he sort of like wins her, but there's also this very everydayness to it, which is also like a rarity in Bollywood films, I guess, because everything is very over the top and like very imaginative. But this is very like a middle class love story and someone, just trying to figure life out. And I really like that in artwork. This is a comic I made, a gibberish comic, where it's just like these two people going in a bus and none of it makes sense. But like I just wanted to sort of illustrate these particular, areas. I'm from a part of India called Mangalore, which is like towards the south of India, and just the kind of sensibilities people have, or the kind of idiosyncrasies people have. I wanted to capture that. So, like a lot of times, I feel in comics, um, the writing is sometimes it doesn't even matter what you write. It's just there for for composition or like just to fill in gaps. But what the characters are doing and how they're interacting and how you draw, say, their environment, that sort of guides the story more than what you're writing. So I guess this was, that's like he is basically sniffing snuff, which is like a popular form of taking tobacco in India, especially like south of India. And then he says something, he takes out this letter, he reads it, and he gets punched. So, I just like doing this. Megan is also here, and her book also, like, I love it. It explores like these day-to-day situations and how, especially how politics affects us. And I think that's just lovely. Like, I really like it. Because I feel a lot of times in India, like, people when they not just India, but like generally when people make comics, they make it too sometimes it ends up being too academic. It There's a sort of distance in between the reader and um, the book. But I just love taking like daily, everyday life, and I don't like the word, but like mundaneness, and just exploring that. So coming to our exercise for today. So I wanted to keep this a 30-minute thing. Is that all right? Do we have time for that?
Yeah, that's about right. That's great.
Okay. Yeah, so we will be using like a 2 by 4 grid. If somebody feels that's too much, they can reduce it as well. But I feel like 2 by 4 might be good for half an hour so that like sometimes when you're time bound, you also like get ideas. So
Can we go back to that one just so I can
yeah,
type
yeah,
it in
yeah.
the
Of course, of course. I was just showing the panel, but huh. So I don't want to give too many like prompts, and because I personally don't like getting instructions. I just like getting a rough idea and going at it. But I would say, things which I like in daily dramatic aimless comics is recollections of everyday things which you do it every day and you don't even realize you're doing it, or something where you felt like you wasted a lot of time and it didn't go anywhere. I feel that's always like a good it's always good material for comics where you're just like going through something really frustrating when nothing is coming out, because I feel everything needs to be productive, but like when you do unproductive things, it's great material for any sort of like media. But so yeah, so don't think too much where the story is heading. Like don't think too much about closure. That was the word I was looking for earlier.
Ah.
And yeah. So, but yeah, like if it's ending in a very abrupt way, just let it. I feel like things make sense. Um like I feel like the stories that I was talking about, it's not as much as what you're trying to say, but how you're saying it. So it's not as much as like what you're getting at, but like how you're getting at it. So, and I would it would be nice to like if everyone could use characters so that there's some sort of trajectory to the story. You can of course use fillers where like there are no people and um but like you can use real people you know around you, or like fictional people or semi-fictional, which is the best one, where you sort of create fictional people, but there is some sort of influence of people you know around you, and you don't want them to know. So, and it would be, I guess, at least two panels should have dialogue. So there is some sort of like groundedness, so I guess, in. Um, but yeah, this, I guess, these are the three things we could keep in uh, what do you call it, keep in mind while making the comics. But yeah, if anybody wants to, I guess, if anybody has any questions, or
For those of us who do like instructions, how many characters would you recommend? One, two, three?
I guess two people who are talking to each other. And I mean, that's my, I like doing, I like not complicating my panel. So I guess two is good. If you can like make background characters, that's great. And yeah, I
Are you going to
mean,
draw two?
yeah, yeah, I will.
Okay. And if you would
I will
hold it,
be part. Oh yeah,
we'd
yeah,
love.
I'll keep. I guess I'll keep updating on what I'm making. Is that good?
Yeah, that would be great. We
Okay.
can even take this screen down in a moment because that stuff's in the chat.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
yeah, of course. I
and then
will
you
stop
can have
sharing.
this go. Um, and so 30 minutes will be uh it'll be 50 minutes after the hour. Um, and I would actually recommend that maybe at 40 minutes after we start seeing if anyone's ready to share something and that other people catch up in that last 10 minutes. That usually is sort of how it works. Um, but but
Okay, yeah,
yeah,
that sounds good. So, around 35 minutes later, we can ask people to share, I guess.
yeah, something like
Okay,
yeah. Um,
sounds
I'm just putting this in the chat one more time for people who are showing up late. So 2x4 grid. That's so much space. I really like the idea that like, a lot of times we do 4 panel comics here, and that's twice as big as our 4 panel comic. And so it does make me think, wow, I can be really aimless. I
good.
can really linger on something unimportant.
Yeah, because I really like when people, it's just just say it's like in somebody's house. One panel is just what you're looking out of the window, and close-ups on that's, I think, a really good thing people do where they close up on elements around the space the characters are in. So you can cheat that way as well, because if you have two characters and you don't want to draw backgrounds, you can draw one panel where, it's like a part of the room. So it feels, that way you can evoke a sense of the place without really having to like go into too much detail of it. So yeah, you can have like close-ups to sort of kind of use the space. And yeah, I feel like also like I feel like 2x2 also has a sense of it being a gag, or like there's a joke coming in, which is not bad, but like I feel that's the kind of this thing the format evokes. But I'll stop talking now so that everybody.
And drawing. I love that idea of uh, thinking about a time you thought you were wasting your time or you weren't doing anything to draw that. And it makes me think about like all the times I wind up on the couch napping or semi-napping and not knowing what I should do with myself.
Yeah, I do that a lot too.
So I'm just going to do a little math here. So 30 minutes for 8 panels is uh or 3.5 minutes each, something like that, right?
Uh,
4 minutes each.
it's 1, 2. Ha, around 4 minutes.
Yeah. And you had some surrealism and absurdity in your comics. Would you recommend that for some people who haven't done that before? You know,
Of
maybe
course. Yeah, yeah, of course. Like, I mean, I also like to sort of balance it, uh, because when like I pitched this idea to you, I also had the word meaningless.
Mhm.
So, meaningless also has a lot of meanings. Like, it could be that it's absurd or like it makes no sense. But, I guess um, meaningless also has that it's not grounded in reality. And I guess like the Fridge Boy comic that I showed, it's not grounded in reality and it's kind of like a gag, but then you sort of bring it back and sort of create these tiny details where it's it's almost like it could happen to your neighbor or it could happen to someone you know. So yeah, yeah, of course I would totally not object to bizarre some bizarre stories.
we see what you're working on, Anand?
Oh, yes. I didn't want to disturb the
Good.
silence.
Nice silence, isn't it? But I really love your drawing, so I want to see. Oh, wow.
It's a little rough because I was into it, but uh, basically, it's an account of yesterday, a few hours ago, because I very foolishly went out drinking with my friends because post show. But yeah, I think it's flipped, but basically, it's
No, it's okay.
me telling, it's like a character telling the other one, he, but yes, it's at 4:30 in the morning, and he's like, damn intense. And then I say that, and then he says, so will you work? So will you wake up early or will you just not sleep? And I wanted to wake up early, but I guess it's too late for that. And I, I'm just worried because I haven't worried enough about the workshop. Usually I start worrying a week before I have something. And it's like, but I just haven't had the time to worry about it this week.
Okay,
So yeah, it's a comic about like worrying.
great. We'll see where that goes. So technically, we have about 14 minutes, y'all, but maybe we'll check in a little earlier. See if people are ready to share. How's it going there, Anand? It's already been 24 minutes, believe it or not.
I'm mostly done. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, I
if you show
can.
it, that'll encourage others to
Yeah,
make.
wait, I can. I think I can show it through my phone. Just let me try.
Sure. Oh, we lost him. Maybe he's coming back. Wait. Oh, I see. Oh, you're muted though. Hang on. I think I have to wait a minute.
Mm,
Ah, there we go.
okay. So, yeah, he says that, but yes, it's at 4:30 in the morning. Damn, that's intense. So, will you sleep or not sleep at all? I wanted to sleep early, but I guess it's too late for that. I'm just worried because I haven't worried enough about. Usually, I start worrying about a workshop about a week before. I just haven't had the time to be worried about it this week. I get it. If you don't worry enough, there's a fear of things going wrong because you didn't worry about it. They sleep and then they just sit. But yeah, I mean, it's very rough because of, I just went at it with a pen.
It's really delightful.
I'll just come back from my computer.
Oh, okay. I don't know how you did that so fast. I mean the switching, the tech
Um,
switching.
sorry. I felt like if I had, oh, mm,
I like just dreamily staring at Anand's page. I'm not sure if he's trying to change the tech or not. Ah, there we go. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Okay. Um, cool. Well, if anyone is ready or almost ready, it'd be a great time to take a look at what you've done. The way to usually do that is to uh, raise your Zoom hand, which is usually on the bottom. Oh, Anand, raise your Zoom hand if you don't mind. It looks like a little thing down on the bottom. But the crazy thing is that
oh yeah.
when you do it, it might Zoom has this habit. It's this new AI thing where it has this habit of saying, it looks like you're not talking anymore. So we're gonna lower your Zoom hand. And then you're like, no, please don't do that. And gives you like 3 seconds to catch it. But so it might lower it. But in the meantime, it's pretty cool if you save it. So wow, Alun has his
Cool.
hand up really fast. S is her hand up, and Ang and Elizabeth and some other people. So we can look. Alun, are you ready? Um,
Yeah, I actually got done somewhat early this time. Usually I kind of am
you can
kind of feeling that last minute. But now as usual, and hold on, let's see if I can get this. Oh, there we go. As usual, I did mine on the computer, so if I can share my screen.
yeah, I give you that
Uh
access. Hold
where's the share
hold on a moment.
screen? Uh-oh, where's the share screen? There it is. So when I am not given guidance and will do whatever I want, my go-to tends to be monsters. So I drew a monster. But anyway, so we have and yeah, per the guidance, I did not plan out where this was going at the beginning, so I kind of was making it up as I went along. So it makes very little sense. But anyway, so yeah, rawr, horrible monster. Do you actually think of yourself as horrible? Don't you think I'm horrible? I don't even know you. Indeed, but can any of us truly know the depths of another being? Do you want to go out for ice cream? I hate ice cream. I could maybe go for pizza though. Okay, let's get pizza. This pizza is horrible. Yeah, I'm not ordering this place again. So yeah, I makes very little sense, but just I guess aimless and making it up as I went along, that's what I ended up with. So all right.
Yeah, I think makes a lot of sense. for the workshop. No, but that was great.
Thanks, Alun. Okay, we'll go to S if S is ready. Otherwise, there we go. Hang on. There we go.
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for hosting and for teaching us for the workshop. Okay, so I took you very literally on only the two. I hit that minimum. Uh, I was like, oh well, if we have to at least do two, I just did the minimum. So mine is just meandering, starting over here. I don't know if I'm backwards.
It's
It's
forward.
just oh, excellent. So I always feel like one of those YouTubers when I'm trying to get it to focus. But anyway, that's just me hanging out. And then that's my bedroom. And then just kind of like zooming out in a dreamy way. And just having a, whatever conversation with somebody. And then finishing a call with a meeting at work, waving to a neighbor, and just kind of like end of day blank staring at my cat. And then back to zoning out in my bed. It's just kind of uh, trying to embrace that aimlessness. And I was thinking about like when you kind of have like those low days when you're just moving through the day, and you function, but at home you're a little bit zoned out. So that was my aimless representation. Thank you.
Thank you. That
You.
was, yeah. I wonder how many people drew themselves in bed or maybe cats. Anyway, I guess we'll find out. Thank you so much, Jess. We'll go to Ang next.
Hi, this was so much fun. So I'm a chronic overthinker. It's something I'm like talking through in therapy right now. So I just drew kind of my day to day, but all these thought bubbles of things I randomly think of while I'm at work or riding the train home from work or on the toilet or walking my dog or cooking. And these thoughts are really random. They're like, did I leave my stove on? Does my dog really love me? Am I gonna have social security in a couple years? Not a couple years, in a while. So just very random, constant thoughts. And then it ends with, wow, I did absolutely nothing today. Because sometimes I feel like even though because I'm constantly thinking about everything, like I haven't done anything. But I think while I was drawing it, I was like, wow, I actually had a productive day. So I think the overthinking kind of makes it feel like it's not.
Awesome, Ang. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
I like that you drew yourself on the toilet. All right, we'll go to Elizabeth next, if Elizabeth is there. Otherwise, we'll go to Matthew. Let's see.
Hey, am I allowed to share my screen?
I have to give you permission to do that, so hang on a second.
Oh, thank you.
You still have to, I think
I
okay,
guess I could hold my iPad up if it's too
you can do it
much.
now.
Okay, awesome. I'll go ahead and share my screen. This is mine. I couldn't think of anything because I got really nervous. Is it showing up?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, the slam and the dive, I didn't consider it as dialogue because they're just action sounds. I don't know how to say it. I'm sure there's a good word for it, but yeah, that's mine. Yes, more toilet. Thank you.
Perfect.
I wonder who that was asking. Was it the poop asking to marry her? I guess so.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go to Matthew next. Here we go. Hold on. There we go. Should be on Spotlight.
Hello.
Hi.
The idea. Oh, I'm sorry, my dog's going crazy upstairs. The idea of aimlessness made me think about childhood. So here's these two kids walking. The one says, "Got to find a good rock, though." Here's one. And takes aim with the slingshot and lets it go. And then says, "Bet I could hit a bird." And the other kid goes, "Ah, don't shoot at a bird." And then we just zoom out. It says, "Wait up," as they continue aimlessly on their way.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Childhood is full of times like that, right?
Yeah.
Thanks so
It's
much,
just like,
Matthew. Okay, we'll go to Chris next.
Thanks. Let's see. Do I have a, yeah, okay. Yeah, so sun's coming up, waking up. My kids are always on their devices, and so I asked them, "Hey, who wants to take a walk on this beautiful day?" But Minecraft. And my wife says, "Any takers?" And the cat's always waiting by the back door, and then I walk by myself around the block.
Oh man.
Thanks.
Is being on a device all the time aimless or is it not aimless? That is really good.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks.
We'll go to Emily next and then Christina after that.
Can I also share screen?
Yeah, I have to change that setting. There you go, Emily.
Okay. So I'm a little disappointed. I wanted mine to be as beautiful as everyone else's, but we all love cats here. I love that. And I really loved the gibberish thing that was talked about and kind of shown, and I just went with that. And I met a baby recently and I started going like ba 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 to it. And I just had that in my head. So
Can you zoom in a little and let us see that a little larger?
yeah. We got ah ba 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 to ba ba. Ah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank
Beautiful.
you. Yeah. Somebody says in the chat, great dialogue. Okay, we'll go to Christina next. Oh, we can't hear you, Christina. Oh, there,
All right.
now we can.
Sorry, I had gloves on, so I couldn't hit the. So I'm out. I don't have my sketchbook in my backpack. So I undid my fry box. So
Wow.
that's what my cartoon's on. So the marker, my felt tip had a hard time with some of the oils. So let's see.
I
if
think
I
it's
can
gonna be
do-
blurry though, Christina. Because of
Oh, why?
your
Oh.
blur.
The filter.
Oh yeah, hang on. Okay. Okay, so I did my dog walking, which is very aimless. So there's me coming out to the dog who's dancing, and then me putting the harness on. And then at the end of the driveway and the dog is pulling, you can see the leash going out of frame. And then the leash is out of frame because he's sniffing, he's stopped. And then he goes the wrong way. So I have to turn around. And then he speeds up. I mean, it's a whole thing of speed up, slow down, stop, speed up, slow down. And then throwing away the poop bag and we're home. About as aimless as it gets.
I think the fact that it's on a box makes it like even more perfect.
I have to go home and do it with something else that stays on it better.
Awesome, thanks.
Please do share.
Indeed. Okay, we'll go to Allison next. And also, that's a great reminder to post these on social media, everybody, and so we can see them later. And I'll put that in the chat. Here we go. Here's Allison.
Can I share my screen, please, Tom?
Yeah, hang on. Okay, there you go. You should be able to.
Okay, you know what? Never mind. I'm going to do it like this. So this is a story about Al of the 71 bus in Cambridge and Watertown, Massachusetts. And he would ride the bus every single day, all day long, kind of back from terminus to terminus. And the bus driver would jump out and get some coffee, and Al would jump out with him and get some scratch tickets. And he was the happiest guy in the world. I would run into him because I would get on that bus to go birding in Mount Auburn Cemetery. But, he looked homeless, but actually he was probably the richest guy in Watertown. He had this fancy old house and he lived in it, but what he did with his day was ride the bus. So it was kind of a cool person to be around, actually. So there you go.
Wow.
Wonderful.
Would he win on those scratch tickets ever?
Well, he got $1 today on that day when he bought 6 scratch tickets. So I think they were 5 for $1 with one thrown in free, and he won $1. So he came out even. Yeah.
Amazing. All right. Thanks, Allison.
Thanks.
Thank
We'll
you.
go to Jackie next.
Great workshop.
Thanks.
I did my daughter and I home during the pandemic. She is on the autistic spectrum and has cognitive issues. So day after day, we would do the same thing, and I always felt like I was explaining it to her, like the same. It was the same thing every day, and I just felt like we weren't getting it. Okay, so you're gonna click here. It's day 1, day 21. Then type your name here. Come on, you know how to spell your name. Day 41, then what zone you're in. It's like crazy hat day. And, green zone, funny. And then she's like upset that day. Funny, you look like you're in the blue zone today. Day 81, just click submit. Okay, very little dialogue on her part. Just she's not much of a talker. She's not conversational. It's funny because I am. And then it's like the last panel, she returns to school, like, which I accomplish anything. So,
Wow.
Thanks.
Really amazing, Jack.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right.
Repetitiveness. Thank you.
We'll go to Eli next.
Hi,
Eli.
I follow Jackie. I'm a big fan of Jackie comics. So I am the king of the aimless day. That is kind of what I do every day. Unfortunately, I don't get anything done. But yesterday was a rain day, and I thought, oh, this is great. I can stay home. And it's trying to kick me off. And I'll stay home and get some stuff done. And so I woke up in the morning and I was like, it's a gift. It's a gift today. Like you can do it today. You can do it. You can get the stuff done. So at 8 o'clock, that was at 7. At 8 o'clock, I had therapy, and my therapist lives on my laptop. And so I sat on a chair and talked to a computer, and my dog thinks I'm insane for an hour. And I was like, yes, I'm 56 years old and I'm still talking about my mom. And then at 9 in the morning, I think, oh, well, first thing, I'm just going to get this out of the way, and I'm going to look for some comics that I have filed away somewhere. Tom, I'm still looking for those comics. I'm sure they're in here somewhere. I have them filed away perfectly. And so I've got this file cabinet that's like the archive of my entire life, in little scraps of paper. And so then at 11, now I'm down on the bottom drawer, and I'm thinking, God, there's so much interesting stuff in here. So I spent 2 hours just like digging around in my filing cabinet, looking at stuff, not doing my invoices like I supposed to. And then at noon, I think, oh shoot, I gotta get those coasters for my friend Cassie for her birthday. I better do that before I forget. So then I blow an hour looking at Etsy. And then at 1, it starts hailing. That was exciting. So I had to look out the window for a while. And then I had to eat lunch and play a video game for 2 hours. And then at 5, I was starting to feel kind of under the weather. I probably should just go back to bed. And that was my day. Very aimless. Thanks.
Amazing, Eli. Thanks. And those were the John Orth comics you're looking for? How funny. All right, we'll go to Judith next. Thanks, Eli.
Okay, let me see how I do this. Okay, I need to also share my screen.
Okay, Judith, hang on a second. There you
go. Share. Okay. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Actually, I just want to argue. I don't think your day was aimless at all, and I bet the 2 hours in the file cabinet was very useful. Personally, I think that. Anyway, So I have a friend, I just came, very often this class for me is like 2 or 3 in the morning, and I come from somewhere, and whatever happened to me usually ends up being in the comics. So I just came from visiting a friend who had eye surgery. Nomi had eye surgery, and she's kind of holding herself there and lying in bed, and she has a patch on her eye, and she got someone else's cornea. So she can't see very much. I tried to make it look like what it's like. She couldn't see very much of anything. And she wondered what the eye had seen that she got put into her eye. She kept on saying, but what did it see? What did it see? And she's a little bit still on morphine, so she wasn't there wasn't a lot of clarity. And she didn't know if her body would reject the cornea and she would be blind. So I'm sitting there looking at her thinking, uh-oh, she's upset. What am I going to do? And I reached in my purse and I happened to have a book that I just grabbed off the shelf by James Hillman called Revisioning Psychology. And I opened it up. Literally, this is what happened. And the quote that I put my finger on was, to see the angel in the malady requires extra, I'm sorry, I can't even read what I wrote, requires an eye for the invisible, a certain blinding of one eye and the opening of the other to elsewhere. So that's what happened to me tonight. And she was comforted. So that all worked out very well. And it was a book I hadn't looked at in years. So
Wow.
thank you for this. It wasn't exactly aimless, but I don't believe anything is ever aimless. So there you go.
Of course, no.
Thanks, Judith.
Stop share.
Thanks so much. Yeah. And then we'll go to Cheryl next. If Cheryl's ready, Cheryl can come on. There we go. Hang on. There we go. Cheryl, we can't hear you, but I can see you. Oh, it's behind you. Yeah. Very
You can
cool.
hear me, right?
Yeah.
You can hear me?
Yeah, now we can.
No, we don't have any. Make a tally. Ring, 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 ring. No, we don't have any strengths. Tallies, ring, ring. We do not. Ring, ring. No. Ring, ring. And then like 10 minutes have passed. This is my day every day at work.
Wow. All those tally marks make it really intense.
Yeah, even the way ring ring goes across two panels, like really sort of like it's actually ringing through space.
Thanks so much, Cheryl.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go to Aditya next. Let's see. Place the spotlight. I think there we go.
Hi, I'm gonna flip my camera. I kept it simple. Can you see?
Yeah.
Another cat comic. It's me. It's just me sitting with my cat. I sit with him, and there's just some static, and this turns into 4 eyeballs, I guess, and he sits with me. It's like I sit with him, he sits with me. That's it.
Beautiful.
Great drawings. Love the patterns.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll go to Megan. Oh my God, I can't believe it's Megan. Hi there, Megan.
Hi. Let's see. Does it work to just hold up my comic?
Yeah.
This started as aimless as possible, but then I started to get an idea that she was teasing somebody. And at first I thought it would be her partner, but then it turned into her daughter. And then it turned into a dinner comic. And I liked that I had the idea at the end that even though clearly the daughter, it's not her favorite meal, she decides to like start a civil conversation instead of complaining about the food.
And she says, I have a new favorite Wes Anderson movie.
Uh-huh. And it's my daughter's much older than this version of her. I think I'm feeling sentimental about her going off to college. And she loves to rank things. She loves to make lists of best to worst and stuff like that.
Yay, Megan. Thanks so
Beautiful.
much. Okay. Nilafar is next, and then Shiva, then Elias, and that'll be it. But I have to come on screen. Thanks for doing that, Megan.
Yeah.
We might go. There we go.
Hello.
Hi.
My first time going on stream. I'm a little nervous. It's
Oh,
2
welcome.
a.m. in the morning here in Tehran. Is it okay if I just share my screen like this?
Sure.
Show now.
Yeah, you can share either.
Second.
You have the ability to share, or you can just hold it up to the screen. Whatever works.
Yeah. Let me do it like this because that will work.
Oh.
It's a I go by something you do daily. Making tea is so irregular to do every day, and it's between two roommates. So we put some leaves in the pot, and we put boiling water on it. One of the roommates just sneaked into the room and said, "Here, since you were working all morning, I made you some tea." And the other one was like, she was drying and said, "Oh, tea, thanks." And the one who was drawing said, "You make me tea every day." And the other said, I can just show up in your room with no reason." And the one who was drawing said, "I don't really like tea, but it's the reason you gave me visit every day." So in the next panel, like looking away, she says, "So yeah, tea is good when you bring it." And it's just a simple day between roommates.
Oh, nice. Really nice. Wonderful drawings of that, especially that character on the bottom. I really love that.
Thank you. I want to say something aimless, but just being making tea for someone else, but didn't have a little bit story.
I think a lot of people put a little story in it. Thanks so much.
I will
Okay.
just a sketch. I will finish it and put it on Instagram with hashtags.
I'll put all the sharing info in the chat. And we'll go to Shiva next, and then Elias. Shiva, are you there? And then Elias, and then Mishka's back.
Yes, hello.
Hi.
We were on our holiday, no rules, and my boyfriend was on vacation, and I was on my PMS time. So I was so sensitive that time, and I was just crying all days, and he was calling me, and I was like, "Oh shit, you're calling me again." And I'm sorry for the camera. And this panel, he was like, "Babe, you okay?" And just a second, I was like crying a lot. Of course, I'm not okay. I miss you so much. I want a hug. I want noodles. And he was like, "Oh, yeah, she go again."
Those amazing drawings. Can we see that
Thank you.
bottom left one again? She's like she's huddled up in this like blanket or something.
Yes, yes, that's uh, I forgot the word. Blanket. I'm sorry, I don't remember the word.
Well, thank you.
Blanket.
Very late over there.
Yeah,
Thank you
yes,
so much.
thank you.
All right, we got two more. We'll go to Elias, then Mishka.
I'm not sure if I really fulfilled the requirements. This might not quite be aimless enough. But I thought of draw a couple people just sitting around. And I thought, where would people just be sitting around, so I thought of a bus stop. And then I thought of something that actually happened at a bus stop, so I'm afraid this might be a little too much of a story. Then
Oh.
do you want the bus? Of course. You better stand up. Zoom. The bleep.
I think it's aimless if you don't get on the bus. I think it's
Yeah.
aimless.
Yeah, so I mean, like one character is definitely aimless, but the other one definitely has an aim, and that aim is thwarted.
Worded. Thanks so much, Elias. Okay, we'll go to and then we'll finish up with Nicole. Mishka, you're back.
Hi. Kind of.
Hmm.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Using thingies. Okay. Can I share?
Yeah, hang on.
Sorry.
There you go.
I have a conversation with my brother to share. So here's wait, hold on. Oh yeah, here we go. This is the whole thing, but let me try to get the other one. We were walking on the beach the other day. So this is maybe, hold on. Delete, hold on. Here, okay. Of course I can't read it because there's the thing. Okay, so we're in the middle of a conversation. He says, yeah, so my social worker, who's like my therapist, thought it's because we move so much that I'm so needy. He said, like, I kind of scare people how I want to be friends. It's just like too much. And then we just move, and I'm just always afraid that I'll lose them. And then I say, really? I've always thought that all that moving just made me friendlier. Like I could make friends with anyone. But I was 4 years younger, so it hit me differently. And he says, I guess, yeah, everything's different for you. Oh, wow, what's that? Is it a rocket or just a jet out of LAX? It is a rocket. It must have launched from Vandenberg. Whoa, Dad'd be so proud of us for noticing it. And then we watch it. It just kept going. We're like, it's really a rocket. Oh my God, it's a rocket. What's that? There's a little red thing that fell off of it. And when will you see it leave the atmosphere? Oh, it's the rocket landing test. Wow, I can't believe we caught a rocket launch totally by accident. And then my brother says, you saw that. You were always so lucky. Like when you found $20 in the bananas and $5 in the surf. That never happens to me. Oh yeah, I have a comic about that.
I love that. It goes from therapy to rocket launches.
It's a good way to stop that conversation.
Mishka, thanks a lot. That's awesome.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right, we'll go to Nicole next. This will be our last.
Thank you. This was so much fun. I couldn't think of any dialogue, but I was definitely aimless. So I did when I'm in bed, I have a Chihuahua mix, and so they like to be underneath all the covers for some reason. So this is just the sort of dog sort of creeping up. He sort of gets closer and closer and closer until he can kind of charm his way, and then he sort of like dives underneath the sheets and then just kind of hangs out, and then I just sort of pat him on the back at the end, but I couldn't really think of anything to say because I mean, I talked to my dog plenty, but I did not in this particular case. So, but thank you. This was great.
Thanks, Nicole. I love how graphic that was, and how like the repetitive abstract drawings of it. All right, I'm gonna spotlight Anand again. Thanks, Anand. This was super fun. I did a cat
thanks for
comic too.
having me. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, please share your comment.
Oh gosh. You want me to? It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
a cat comic. All right, hold on. It's let's see. I gotta spotlight myself. All right, let's see. Panel 1. All right, so panel 1, he's sitting on the couch. Panel 2, the cat jumps up and says meow. Panel 3 looks at the cat's butthole. Panel 4, the cat jumps on the lamp. Panel 5, it's a big smash. Panel 6, he just sort of stares back into space. Panel 7, he goes to sleep. And panel 8, the cat is just licking itself in the amidst the chaos, and that's pretty much it. Trying to be aimless is kind of tricky.
Classic, but classic cat behavior.
I know. But it's yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna spotlight you again. Tell us how to get stories from Zoo, your 4th issue or any of the first 3 or anything like that. What is the best way to get them?
Oh yeah, so I'll share like a little bit of my screen, but
Wonderful.
For yeah, so my Stories from Zoo, which is a collection of my first 3 issues, is available at bubblezine.com through Bubbles. And my new issue of Zoo 4, you can find it in the link in my bio. So there's a separate link for people from outside of India to order the book. It has basically has information of how you can like give your address and pay me, and I'll post it. It's a little slow because of India Post and stuff, but and also like Wig Web Shop, which is a comic book shop based in America, is buying a few copies, and a bunch of stores will soon stock up. So hopefully you'll find a few copies in your local comic book store.
Wonderful. Okay. And again, I put in the chat number times where people can share the comics, how they can tag you when they share. Go check out your Instagram. And thank you so much. This was so fun. It's so great to just let yourself think about those moments that don't really matter, right? Or, and let them matter, something like that. I really appreciate it. Thanks for being here. I love your comics so much. Hope you come back.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
I love everybody's. Yeah, sorry.
I'm going to ask everybody to unmute themselves and to give you a big round of applause.
Thank
Let's see.
you.
Yeah, there we go.
Thank you.
Yeah, Beth,
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the chat.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anand.
No,
Go get
thank
some
you,
sleep.
everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks everybody. I loved everybody's comic. Thanks a lot for being here. I'm really glad you guys enjoyed.
All right. Happy
Yeah.
Friday, everybody. Good night.
Good night.